All right, and welcome everyone to another episode. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day or night whenever you're watching or listening to this. So in last time's episode, we did talk about procrastination and why we procrastinate, the underlying reasons for that. And sometimes when we are procrastinating something, sometimes we get the advice of like, oh, well, just think more positively about it, or just in life, sometimes we have something that we're going through and the advice comes to well, just think positively. Just something happens, like, oh, just you're not thinking about it the right way, just think about it positively. This I guess, I don't want to say theory or strategy of thinking positively. Excuse me. Which, Dad, as we know, having a positive attitude, that's not a bad thing.
No,
But
as a matter of fact, it's good. Yeah.
yeah, like having positive obviously is much better than having a cynical negative attitude. But I'm curious about your take. Is the advice to just say, "Oh, just think positively"? Is that the right advice, or are we missing something there?
We're missing the attitude. And what I mean by that is that, you don't ignore, the challenges or the problems. It simply means that you approach the good and the bad in life with the expectation that things will go well.
Hmm.
Okay. It doesn't mean that you get freeze or you don't do anything about it. So positive thinking, it has to do with this optimist attitude. No, it's a practice. No, focusing on the good. No, in any given situation, whether it's a challenge, whether it's a crisis, you know, there's existential crisis. In that, it just makes a big impact. In our mental state, in our physical state.
Hmm. So positive thinking, positive attitude, it's good, it's healthy. So what happens though when we try to, I guess, like you were saying, ignore maybe the problem or just try and force positivity?
Well, that's going to be a problem. Okay, because let's say I have a problem in front of me. I pretend that doesn't exist. And I choose, okay, I'm just going to be positive. No, which means I'm using reasoning and, and, analytical mind to trying to repeat positive things, positive thoughts. That can create some serious problem. Because when a crisis comes, we're going to have to go through some more, we're mourning through the losses. Or when a challenge comes, we have to really help resolving the problem.
Hmm.
And if I ignore and I say, okay, I'm not going to really deal with this, I'm just going to be doing things that keep me with satisfaction. I start just thinking positive. The problem will go, it won't go away. It will come back again, and it will stay there until we choose to solve it. So that's the downside. So the just thinking positive, it won't cut it. Now there are a lot of benefits on the attitude, a positive attitude. And now just a thinking positive, it can create problems. Just like negative, it's just almost the same. And sometimes it's even worse. Okay, can create heart disease, can bring some immunity problems, hormonal problems. And on the other hand, when the attitude is, you know, positive with positive thoughts, then we can have a better quality of life, better, psychological and physical health. We can faster recover from injury, illness. So lower rates of moments of anxiety. No, it's a better stress management and better way to cope with this and have the skills. So that's what the benefits are, and we need to learn, to really know how to focus on the good part because at any given time, you know, there's going to be things. This is like our mind is like a glass of water. No? half empty or a portion empty. So the attitude of having a positive attitude, it is when I look at the whole thing, see the glass, I need a glass, no? And it's not you just saying, I'm going to ignore the empty part, which is whatever it happens, that it doesn't make us comfortable. But you look at the whole glass, and then you focus in the fact that you still have water in there, and that you still can go and walk and fill again now the glass of water, instead of just ignoring the fact that there is empty, half of the glass. You're in the desert, you drink the part that's full, and eventually you have nothing. You're completely empty. That's if we don't have a attitude that's a positive attitude. So if I only focus on positive thoughts, I won't be able to really recharge and refill the empty part that's part of the glass.
So I guess just from experience, rather with certain people that I've met, it seems that there's this, because like you were saying, so there's that positive attitude part that's good, that's healthy. Basically having that perspective of like, oh, even if basically no matter what happens, there's something good. That's that positive attitude. But the difference though with like positive thinking, it's more. It almost seems like you were saying, like you're ignoring something, or it's almost conditional. Like for example, just thinking, oh, I'm going to get the sale, I'm going to get the sale, I'm going to get the sale. But then what happens when you don't get the sale? It seems that I think the like you were saying, the part that is missing is the more confronting or facing the reality of the situation. It's
because you need to see what's happening. Okay, let's say I want to get a sale. Okay, and that means that I don't have the sale now, or I don't have the amount of sales I want, and it's needed. So let's say I have 2 sales, and I need 6. Okay, so I need to focus on what I have, what has been achieved. Okay, so that's the goodness. That's the part that is full. And then the empty part is what's still missing. So I won't ignore the fact that I need these other cells. I also have to add, to the empty part of the glass, the fact that there are other things that I have to learn, maybe other work that need to be done. See, maybe I did not do enough marketing, and that's not bad, because, even though it's on the part of the empty part of the glass, it's good. I observe it, and then that moved me to start marketing. Or maybe I need to adjust the marketing, and that's not bad. It means that I gain experience. I know what doesn't work, and that is valuable, because regardless of my 2 sales at the moment, it's going to be helping me not only through this month, but it's going to help me the following month. There are other things. Maybe there are things related to the way how I approach people. That's the empty part. That's the part where I need to develop some skills. Perhaps there is some kind of stress in there, so I need to learn that. Or I don't know how to handle my emotions. So you have to face that. You can't just ignore and say, I want the sale and I want the sale, and running your life without this empty part in our life, expecting that we're going to build a foundation. It won't. I'm going to be in the same predicament next month, in the following month, okay, because I'm not willing to delay the satisfaction, knowing that the sales in the books, because it creates satisfaction when you achieve things. You feel good, So, but you're willing to delay the satisfaction, because you're gonna be looking at the empty part like an observer, and that there are things that have to be changed. I probably didn't market enough. Maybe I didn't market right. Maybe I got to change my attitude towards people. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, superficial. Maybe I'm manipulating people and I'm not realized. maybe I'm trying to control the outcome, and I need to make the changes. So it's not bad, through that part. There's good for me, even though some of those might be some habits that I have built. But the good thing, it can be fixed. Now, at the same time, I'm focused on what I have achieved. I'm focused on these 3 sales or 2. Not with the purpose of feeling arrogant and saying, "Oh, I'm super duper." Okay. No, it's just the fact that my effort, my experience, with the help of all the resources around me, my manager, Google, whatever we do, and everything else, what I have learned, they actually have put me in that place. And I had to, develop this feeling of gratitude, also a sense of worthiness, not because of those 2 sales, because, performance doesn't necessarily mean that that's what I'm worth. Because if that was the case, then I'm going to be stuck thinking I'm not good enough because I only have 2 sales. Okay, it's the middle of the month, and then you freeze. You don't move. You worry. You get anxiety. You fight your spouse. Okay, you fight your dog. You disattend your kids. You aggravate others, and then eventually you feel thinking the world is terrible. So this attitude of gratitude, attitude of positive attitude includes all the stuff. The willingness to look at the things that's missing, with the purpose of trying to figure out what needs to be changed internally while I'm moving. Okay, I'm not just sitting there, observing. Okay, this is my flaws. I haven't done any marketing, or I have to change the marketing. I sit there observing. No, you got to move. No, and then you move to find more knowledge. Try and take some chances. Maybe I got to take a chance here. Maybe I need to be re-educated. Maybe I need to call my Uncle Fred, who was a good salesman, and ask him, maybe I need to be humble and go and ask my boss and say, "Look, see, you have an idea. Maybe you can see it from the outside. Maybe I don't see it. Maybe everything is dark. I don't see the empty part. I think everything is empty in the glass." Okay. And maybe I need some strategies to make the changes so I can really, really grow. That's the attitude. The people that has a positive attitude doesn't mean that they don't feel the pain associated with what's missing. Because, pain is essential. If there's something empty in my life and created by my behavior or some habitual, not best behavior, or thought that are really engulfing me to have, live with very strong emotions. So I had to make some changes. So that's a fact. And I had to really confront that. Okay, as I confront, I got to move, and what I do to use that movement, you can use maybe fears if you want to, but it's not the best thing to do. Oh, I'm afraid that if I don't bring the money, my wife is not going to be happy with me. My debtors are going to come after me. I mean, that's not the point. You can use deadline. Let's call it deadline. Let's not call them fears. The deadlines, okay, we use that to move, or we can use satisfaction. Oh, I can actually do this, so I can bring the money home, so my wife and I can go to the movie, sleep in peace, so I don't have to have all the debtor coming after me, or I can buy the shoes to my little kids. So those are 2 ways how we can handle this. Now, if we use only fears or deadlines, it can be dangerous too, because eventually we can use deadline, and we may make everything a deadline. Everything, things that are not even necessary to be a deadline. We talked a little bit about that last time, but it's terrible. It's a terrible way to live. You go into your 30s and 40s and 50s, and everything is a deadline. Your son had to change right now. Things had to happen now. We get sick. On the other hand, if we do things only for satisfaction, because we want the satisfaction, it's a terrible thing too. Because one day, we may not be able to do it. We may not be able to reach the goal. And we're going to punish ourselves so terrible. So the best thing is to, kind of have balance. Okay. I need deadlines because it's important. Okay. Whether it's for the long-term thing, like a relationship, or just make the sale for the month because I got to pay bills. Okay. And I also need to have this sensation of satisfaction. Okay. Both of them requires, humility, gratitude, because you need to know that even though you're moving forward, learning and achieving and getting a better outcome, you did not need to do this alone. There were sometimes dozens of people. They're not in the scene with you, but they're giving the support. If you're selling is a phone that, it was been improved by, hundreds of engineers all over the world. And that's a phone we are dialing on. There's internet that's been improved, with the help of thousands of engineers. There's been bankers, people that take chances to invest in those companies. Mm-hmm. There are, wave that are part of this earth that my voice can travel, so I can talk to my client in the other side of the city or the other side of the world. So that attitude had to prevail, had to be there as part of this positive attitude. So recognizing, that, whatever you achieve, there's been other players, and you have to be grateful. The hotel where you sleep, somebody invests, somebody built that, somebody's cleaning the rooms, somebody's managing. There are bankers involved. There's transportation, the food you eat for lunch with your client, with your kids, the bed you sleep, everything. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of things that happens every day for a benefit. And I had nothing to do with it. I haven't even contributed with anything to happen. We discussed about oxygen. There's 300 to 500 plants that work to give me oxygen for one day, to me. And there's no effort from my part. So I really had to recognize everything. This computer, there's wonderful people that work, technology, software, it's magical, really. Mm-hmm. And if we keep those attitudes of gratitude, it helps us to maintain, this attitude, positive attitude.
Mm-hmm. And, I think this might be actually also an important moment. This just came to mind, but sometimes I think when people receive the advice, just think positively, and whatnot, it sometimes happens when people are in, they're doing something that they don't necessarily maybe want to be doing, which I think goes back to maybe the procrastination talk that we had last time. But for example, and maybe we need to clip this and put this on LinkedIn, but if, for example, you are in a job that perhaps it's not your favorite. Maybe you're a banker because your dad was a banker, but your thing has always been you wanted to write, or you wanted to make movies, or whatever the case may be. I think sometimes people receive advice, like you don't like your job, just think more positively. But I think going back to having that positive attitude and what you were saying, I think part of having that positive attitude is, like you were saying, having that humility to face yourself and to face the actual situation of, well, do you really want to be a banker, or are your talents, are you more drawn towards sales, or towards whatever the case may be, you're not going to force yourself through positive thinking to like something that you don't necessarily like.
Yeah, we do have inclination toward things, from the food we eat to the way we dress and the colors we like, etc. This is all individual. It's like our fingerprints. No, there's also a lot of skills that we can develop in there's things that are flavor to us. It's just so sometimes we are in a profession that is not the one that we want. So now, if that's the case, we have to face it, as you say. Okay, what I really like. Oh, I like music. Okay, or I like drawing or computers. So to be an engineer, a doctor, or a teacher. So now, if I have responsibilities and I have a family, and I'm here because my mom thought it was good to be an accountant, but it's not what I enjoy. Okay, so I need to face it, and I need to figure out what I like, and then I need to plan. See, I need to plan. I cannot shift now if I haven't started with writing, because I know it's going to take me like 3 or 4 years before I can get something good out there. Maybe it's 7. Who knows? Okay. And then, but I have the skills. I have the passion. I know I have the passion, and I know I can sit there to write. And I will enjoy. And I know that how to do because something that I maybe felt in high school or early in college. But I kind of hold back because I didn't want to offend mom, and I didn't tell her no. Now I'm here at this job doing something. It's okay, paying the bill, but I'm pushing myself. So plan to make the change, but decide to enjoy this job where you are in right now, while you are preparing yourself, which is going to mean that you're going to have to be honest and talk to your spouse if you're married, okay, and say, okay, this is what I love. Be sure that you present things people feel. When something is moved with passion, people can feel it. No, I mean, your spouse might get afraid, but that's okay. You present a plan. You might want to take more classes. It's going to take a little bit of some sacrifices. Organize yourself with your spouse, take more classes, maybe start writing. But choose to enjoy the place where you're in, because there are a few pointers that are probably good, and you look into the full part of the glass. No, it's good. This job is paying the bills now. It's good. I have a good friend. Whatever. No, it happens. So focus on that. I got a diploma. Okay, it's good. I have something I can rely on. So be sure that you also, give yourself a pat on the back, because I'm sure that there is some good things that you have done. So take that as a way to kind of prepare yourself towards your changes. So when you make the changes, you prepare. See, you got the first draft of the book, the second draft, you already have some contacts, you have saved some money. Okay, maybe you choose to find a company that give you a part-time job. Okay, maybe your wife jumps on the wagon with you and say, listen, I can also work part-time, maybe together. So that is kind of the institution of marriages, where you can actually, if you have a good relationship with your spouse, you can talk openly. And if you're not forceful and you're honest and, talk from your heart, see, don't leave the job because you want to run away from it. Because that's going to be too dramatic. You might lose your marriage. You might lose your house. You might lose your car. And who knows, it might affect you, and eventually you're going to feel guilty about it. So now this requires a little bit of patience. Okay? And patience is, I'm delaying the reward of being a writer for a few months or few years. And while I'm delaying, I'm actively engaged. I spend 1 hour writing. I spend doing this, doing that, preparing myself, saving a little money, trying to get things squared away. Who knows? But that's the delay. You're not, are not trying to manipulate. You can lose patience. So in close to this, when it comes to positive attitude, why would people choose to do positive thinking only? It is because we want a cheap, solution, a pill that can fix my problem right away. And as we think of this concept, you should just think positive only, without the attitude, and developing all these qualities of waiting for the satisfaction, moving towards. Okay, so we want somebody to get me out of this job, no? So, or give me something. Okay, give me the pill, and somebody tells you, just think positive, and you think it's gonna be better. Normally, it's not gonna be better, okay? Unless while you're doing that, you also are developing this attitude. Okay, I'm at the job. It's not my favorite, but hey, you start focusing on the little things. I have a chair to sit. There's heater here. Okay, there's air conditioning. I have a car to drive. I see the face of my kids when they're eating, because there was money that was, received from this exchange. It's not my favorite, but yeah, then I start moving towards looking at the things on the empty glass that I have to improve, whatever it is. If move to another job, it means taking a few classes or doing this part-time. So that's what you have to feel. So you keep moving towards your goals. And not necessarily you have to really suffer more. Because if you put the pill, apparently pill a solution, it can get worse. Okay. In many cases, many people that only think positive, end up, being more under more stress.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. But I guess if I want to say one last thing, especially in regards to what we were just talking about, like if you're trying to switch job, well, we were talking about the job example. What I found, and I guess maybe this goes along with having a positive attitude and being able to, I guess, see the good, even if you're not in a job or at the school that you want to be, or whatever the case may be. I found it in my own life that when I've gone, because I've had several different jobs, been in a couple different ventures, and I found that even though maybe I was not always in the one that I wanted to be in, or at least that I was in something that I wanted to be in for a while, and then I switched to something else, there was always something good that I was able to bring from that other experience. And so if you're an accountant, but you want to be a painter, or you're a painter, but you want to be an accountant, whatever the case may be, like there's always something good, like the whole glass half full thing. There's always something that you can bring with you, a skill, a contact, an experience that will help you in your next part of your life.
Yeah, I met a person that he was an engineer, been an engineer for 35 years. And then when we talked, he mentioned that he always wanted to be a doctor. Imagine, at 56, want to be a doctor. Not most people would say that's crazy. Can't do it, too late. But anyway, the point is that he chose to, have a plan. Ask me how he can do this. I told him, you're gonna have a plan, got it projected, and then he worked towards that. Well, he kept his job because he got debts and responsibility, and then now he's a doctor. He's an acting doctor. Doctor has his own office, and it is the profession of his life. Okay, he's now about 64, and he's practicing. Okay, imagine most people would say, "How could you build a clientele of patients when you are 62?" No, how could that be possible? 63. Well, everything is possible because that combination of you enjoying what you want to do because it's aligned with serving and doing what your dreams are, it captured people's attention, and he got enough patients to take care of his clinic. He got a debt on his clinic, but he's paying for that. He's bringing money home, paying for everything. And he say to me, asking, when you plan to retire? He said, I don't think I ever going to retire. I love this. Okay. And, most people would say that's impossible. So for those of you who are listening and thinking I'm too late for this because I'm already, 35 or 22 or 49, we're never too late to make changes.
Awesome. Well, I think we could talk about this for a while, but we'll end right there. And hopefully you guys took some good points from today's talk, and have a fantastic day.